The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. He who is of a calm and happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. No one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. And the price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. The soul of the man is immortal and imperishable. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. He who learns must suffer. And even in our sleep pain that cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart. You should not honor men more than truth. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Knowledge becomes evil if the aim be not virtuous. Books give a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future life. Necessity is the mother of invention. Character is simply habit long continued. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot. Justice means minding your own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. Opinion is the shadow of knowledge upon ignorance. Those who tell the stories rule society. Education is teaching our children to desire the right things. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Man is a being in search of meaning. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Love is a serious mental disease. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. We can easily see our neighbor's faults, but not our own. Rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men. The greatest achievement of the human soul is to become virtuous. No evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death. To prefer evil to good is not in human nature, and when a man is compelled to choose one of two evils, no one will choose the greater when he may have the less. The eyes of the soul, which are blinded by ignorance, can be opened only by philosophy. Virtue is not given by money, but that from virtue comes money and every other good of man. Nothing in the affairs of men is worthy of great anxiety. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction. We do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. There is truth in wine and children. The soul takes flight to the world that is invisible, and there arriving she is sure of bliss. The highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. The soul of man is divine and immortal, but the body is mortal and corruptible. An unexamined life is not worth living. The greatest mistake physicians make is that they attempt to cure the body without attempting to cure the mind. The highest reach of injustice is to be deemed just when you are not. The man who makes everything that leads to happiness depend upon himself and not upon other men has adopted the very best plan for living happily. The human soul has wings and is destined to fly upwards. Ignorance is the curse of God, knowledge the wing wherewith we fly to heaven. Every heart sings a song incomplete until another heart whispers back. Pleasure is the greatest incentive to evil. Justice is harmony between the different parts of the soul. Time is the moving image of eternity. Poetry is nearer to vital truth than history. The learning and knowledge that we have is, at the most, but little compared with that of which we are ignorant. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. Lack of activity destroys the good condition of every human being. To be sure, the life which is unexamined is not worth living for a man. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. The man who wishes to serve his country must not be afraid to be hated by the wicked. When the mind is thinking, it is talking to itself. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. Only the dead have seen the end of war. Knowledge without justice ought to be called cunning rather than wisdom. The greatest victory is to conquer oneself. The soul that sees beauty may sometimes walk alone. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. We are bound by duty to seek the truth, even if it shakes our deepest beliefs. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Truth is the beginning of every good to the gods and of every good to man. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy is when men are afraid of the light. Everything that deceives may be said to enchant. Virtue is a kind of health, beauty, and good habit of the soul. The philosopher is in love with truth, that is, not with the changing world of appearances. He who refuses to rule is liable to be ruled by someone worse than himself. Knowledge becomes evil if the aim be not virtuous. We do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. Every man is the artisan of his own fortune. To conquer oneself is the best and noblest victory. Where there is reverence, there is fear, but there is not necessarily reverence where there is fear. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. All the gold which is under or upon the earth is not enough to give in exchange for virtue. He who is of a calm and happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood by the masses. Let parents bequeath to their children not riches, but the spirit of reverence. When the mind's eye rests on objects illuminated by truth and reality, it understands and knows them. Justice in the life and conduct of the state is possible only as first it resides in the hearts and souls of the citizens. All learning has an emotional base. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. The beginning is the most important part of any work, especially in the education of youth. No human thing is of serious importance. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. Opinion without knowledge is always a dangerous thing. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. Excess liberty, whether it lies in state or individuals, seems only to pass into excess slavery. The most virtuous are those who content themselves with being virtuous, without seeking to appear so. We do not live for ourselves alone. Our lives are linked with others.